Dude, fuck your lame intro.
Things that the Prophet Muhammad said that would happen before the end of time. And of course, the first thing the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, the first thing that he said would be, the first of the signs of the last day is his death.
You know that happened like 1,400 years ago. Is he taking his time or something? Yeah, I guess we can skip that. 1,400 years, that isn't exactly soon.
And that last day is soon upon us. And that's what the Prophet said then, 1,400 years ago.
Oh, can we hear that again?
Soon upon us. And that's what the Prophet said then, 1,400 years ago.
I am amazed at what kind of cognitive dissonance you must have to presume that this is somehow, that 1,400 years are somehow soon.
First of all, the Prophet Muhammad mentioned that amongst the signs of the last day is that you would see the barefooted Bedouins compete with each other in building tall buildings. This is remarkable, because I invite anybody to look and go and visit Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain.
That's from the Hadith, and it's still bullshit. People have been building big castles which are really tall in the Arab Peninsula for fucking ages. Besides barefooted Bedouins, I bet when the end times don't come, you'll just be whining, but the Saudis are not Bedouins. Which they aren't actually, to think about it. And yeah, all those skyscrapers built in Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Dubai, they aren't even built by Arabs, let alone Bedouins, but by slave laborers from Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Kenya and Ethiopia.
The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ also mentioned that the mosques would become like palaces.
Well, the Hagia Sophia wasn't built by you people, but by the Romans. And if we count in all the other big old mosques, some of which happen no longer to be in Muslim hands, then we can only conclude that the end days are 1,000 years late. Again. Or that they simply aren't going to happen.
Also, the Prophet mentioned that trustworthiness would disappear, so much so that a person would be able to say, I know a trustworthy person in such and such town. I ask you yourself if maybe that is not the case today.
What the fuck is that even supposed to mean?
Also, the Prophet mentioned that there will be an increase in killing. The Prophet called it harj, to the extent that the one who is being killed and the one who is killing, they don't even know. The one who's being killed doesn't know why he's being killed. The one who's killing doesn't know why he's doing the killing.
That's just another set of useless gibberish. Okay, which wars in human history were the most costly in terms of loss of life? I guess a lot will say World War II with up to 75 million people killed, which would mean that the apocalypse is 70 years late. But then there's China with the Taiping Rebellion of 1850 with up to 100 million people being killed, which would mean that the apocalypse is 160 years late. Oh, and of course the Mongol conquests during the 12th century. Now nobody knows exactly how many people were killed during those. Could have been 40 million, could have been a lot more. But still, it would mean that the apocalypse is 600 years late. And even further back, and back to China during the end of the Han Dynasty in 200 AD, and the wars between the three Chinese kingdoms that came out of that. Those resulted in up to 50 million people being killed, which would mean that the apocalypse is 1,700 years late. Which would in fact mean that the apocalypse should have predated Muhammad by 300 years.
Also, the Prophet mentioned that there would be the increase in the use of riba, which means usury, interest, credit cards, mortgages, things like that.
Look, you fool, credit and banking has been around since way before Islam. I think even the Athenians had debt records to finance their fleet or something. The Romans had banks and creditors. The Venetians made banking their speciality during the Renaissance in Italy. The Dutch created Europe's first stock market and fueled its first investment bubble and consequent crisis during the 17th century. So this bullshit is also predating Muhammad himself, or means that the apocalypse is not on time again. In fact, the apocalypse should have probably started as soon as one caveman owed another caveman a piece of greasy mammoth pelt or something.
Prophet also said that there will be an increase in literacy. In fact, so many people will be able to read and write, but actually knowledge will decrease. Isn't that a type of paradox? More people will read, and what do we end up reading? Most of us, we read rubbish. We read rubbish stuff.
No. This is so easily disproven. You people are fucking morons.
Also, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that there will be such an increase in musical instruments, and Muslims will make it lawful even though it is forbidden. The use of musical instruments, it has been forbidden by the Prophet. Some Muslims will make it lawful.
That's like professing that there will be an increase in the amount of shoes. Fucking hell. Professing that the sky will be blue, that there will be clouds in the sky. Ugh, fuck me. That really isn't even worth being called a prediction. It's just pure fucking gibberish or something. How fucking delusional can you be to actually believe that this is some kind of prophecy?
Also, he mentioned there will be an increase in sexual promiscuity.
Yeah, we already know that you people have sex problems.
Even though Islam is a religion that teaches chastity, that a man and a woman should confine themselves to marriage, the Prophet said there will be an increase in sexual promiscuity.
Guess what? People like having sex.
And I don't think anyone can deny that that is the state of the world today, with highly sexualized images.
And it's about to get problematic up in here.
Allahu Akbar! And the Prophet Muhammad said that because of this, diseases would appear that people had never heard of before.
New diseases appear all the time, mainly through the evolutionary process, since diseases have to adapt to the immune systems of those that they usually infect.
Isn't that the case? AIDS, for example?
I am not entirely sure, an actual scientist should probably correct me on this, but I believe that AIDS came to infect humans through a process called zoonosis or something like that, which is when a disease jumps from an animal to a human being, or when a disease is capable of being transmitted from an animal to a human being, which, by the way, also has to do with evolution. Well, we know that, HIV, we don't know. It could have come from someone hacking up a monkey and cutting themselves, or it could have come from someone fucking a monkey. I leave it up to your fantasy to figure that out. And the recent swine flu outbreak a few years back started because of the poor quality in which pigs were kept in Chinese farms, enabling the disease to jump from the pigs to human beings. This is something that has probably been going on for fucking ages, probably even predating Islam itself. Possibly even predating the human species itself.
He mentioned that women will be naked although they are dressed.
That's just pure fucking gibberish again. And the sun will be cold, and fire will be cold, and water will be hard and liquid at the same time, and the stars will be made out of sugar, and you will be able to grow chocolate in the fucking dark in a cellar like mushrooms.
Dress of some women today, which in all but means is nakedness.
Anything that isn't wrapped in a carpet is naked to you people.
And also the Prophet mentioned that there will be shouting in the mosques, something that is prohibited in Islam.
And there will be farts in mosques, and heart attacks, and bad teeth. This is just another vapid, pointless sentence, really.
Something that I have witnessed myself. And also the Prophet said the worst and the most ignorant people will become the leaders. And really, I have to say, if we look at some of the world leaders today, even of some of the superpowers, it seems as if what the Prophet said about the worst and most ignorant people becoming leaders seems to have taken place.
Well, if you think back to King Charles II of Spain, King Derpface, as I like to call him, the result of several generations of Habsburg incest, he used to rule the biggest superpower at that time, the Spanish Empire. And he was just, he liked to torture animals and other kind of crazy shit. He was probably the worst leader a superpower has ever had. So the apocalypse is late again for 500 years.
Exactly as the Prophet Muhammad said. Also, he mentioned that a man will obey his wife and disobey his mother. Something really contrary to the teachings of Islam.
Yeah, there's cucks everywhere these days, isn't there?
Men will wear gold and silk and they will make it lawful.
This has been going on since the fucking Bronze Age. Your apocalypse is several thousand years late. And predates Islam again.
People will abandon the religion of Islam.
Very good.
Mentioning all of these things, and there are many, many more things that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned.
I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I gathered together a massive, big portfolio or bookmark list of these weird Islamic channels. Some of them rather small with only about 40 to 30,000 subscribers made by amateurs and shit. Some of them really big with up to 300,000 subscribers. And I believe some of them might even actually receive donations from Saudi Arabia and shit. I'm going to leave links to all of these channels, or at least to a lot of these channels in the description, so some of my subscribers who are themselves content creators can, well, take apart their videos themselves, or that you, my subscriber who doesn't make any of his own content, can make suggestions. I'll see you all the next time around.